Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Michael Kernicki from the Golf Guidance Group, co-founder and principal. Thank you so much for being on today. And why don't you tell me a little bit about the Golf Guidance Group and what you do there?
My pleasure, Ethan. Thank you so much. Golf Guidance Group is a consulting company that we formed, myself and three partners, back in 2020. We've all had long careers in the golf industry, very successful careers, and we felt that we had an opportunity to help private clubs and companies become more successful, in the golf industry. So collectively, we've got lots of years of experience, and so consequently, we do that. So we've worked with clothing companies to get them a foot leg into the industry. We've redesigned golf shops for clubs because we have one of my partners, Marty Hacko, was Mr. Style with Golf Digest for many years, and he still dresses a lot of tour pros today. They wouldn't put anything on without Marty saying yes. And so, and Dick Stewart, another partner, 40 years at Kalamazoo Country Club, national award winner in merchandising. So if you were thinking of doing any kind of a renovation to your golf operation, it'd be foolish not to talk to these guys. And Gene Matari, my other partner, Gene ran Saucon Valley, famous place. In fact,
Wow, yeah.
For many years, 30 plus years as the GM and head golf professional. And I've been blessed to work for some of the finest clubs in the country and national board member of the PGA of America. So we're connected, let's put it that way.
That's great to hear. And tell me a little bit about yourself. What is your role there, and what do you do specifically for the company?
Well, I would say that our role is not individual, but really as a team.
Okay.
We discuss any new clients as a team, decide what we can do best for them, understand and try to understand what they're looking to do, and then move forward from there. So,
Okay. Now, what does a typical day look like for you guys? Are you going to the site of your clients? Are you doing more remote like this, or how does it look for you?
that's a good question. In this day and age, most of it is remote, just like this. There's a lot of Zoom meetings, and it's just easier because we're dealing with companies that might be in California. We're mainly on the East Coast,
Mhm.
and so consequently, it's a lot of this. In a day in the life of partners with the Golf Guidance Group is once we take on a client, we go full service to make sure that we fulfill the need, and
Mhm.
and so consequently, but then again, we might be playing more golf than we did when we were working. So
Right.
it's all relative.
It's always a plus.
Yeah, it is. It is. Golf professionals, that when you're the head pro at a club, many people think, oh gosh, isn't that great? You play a lot of golf, things like that. You don't, because you're working all the time.
Right,
And
right.
so we've had an opportunity to get a little bit, spend more family time and everything else. So
That's great. That's always the benefit of owning a business.
very true.
Any major industry shifts you're seeing trends, stuff that's affecting your business and businesses that you work for?
Yeah, I think the golf industry is busier today than it has been in many years.
Mhm.
Okay. I think clubs are maxed out. I mean, private clubs, the initiation fees are getting higher and higher, and the memberships are full. I think COVID had a lot to do with that. And so in many cases, there's been clubs that they're trying to deal with being maxed out in their facilities and everything else, and how do we handle this going forward? And so we've had lots of conversations with clubs to try to help them through that process, if you will.
Right.
What I see today is many clubs are kind of using what I like to say a shotgun approach. It's like, oh, well, how do we deal with this? And so there's not a lot of proactivity.
Hmm.
Yeah, is this trend going to continue? Are we going to be maxed out? I mean, I think a lot of that is all relative financially, but I don't see it turning back. I don't see it turning back. They're building more golf courses, building more clubs than they have ever before. So clubs, if they're starting a club or if you've been a club for many, many years, you really got to figure out what are we going to do with this going forward and how are we going to manage it. The other thing I see, or we see, is the trend years ago was golf shops were generally owned by the head golf professional. That has had a big shift over the last 20 years, and I would say that majority of shops today, high majority of shops today, are owned by the club. They looked at that as a profit center, and so the golf professional is either divorced of that completely, or has a percentage of the profit, if you will. But what I see is that I think from an employee standpoint, I'm not sure that clubs are really, it's like, okay, well, we got the golf shop. It's going to make us X number of dollars in money. And so the stress is still there for the golf staff unless they hire a quality merchandiser. And if they really want to get successful, clubs have got to hire a quality merchandiser, male or female, doesn't really matter, as long as they have the credentials and they can, buy, sell, and manage the inventory. That's a big key. Big key is managing the inventory. Let's see. I think that with all these new members coming into clubs, are they onboarding them properly? I see somewhat of a trend at even some of the best places where divots, ball markers, their ball marks,
Right.
everything else. And that really comes from, somebody, a membership person, a head golf professional, somebody, general manager, sitting down with that new member and explaining to them, these are the traditions of this club. There's been a lot of clubs that's like, take the money, get them in, and happy to have them here, Smart man said to me one time, what are you doing for that new member? I mean, a lot of times they get a bag tag and they get a locker and say, hey, okay, go have fun, when they need to be onboarded properly. Frankly, I've always felt the new member ought to get, a really nice gift from the club. I mean, if you're going to spend, depending upon the size of the clubs, you're going to spend $20,000, $30,000, $200,000, $300,000 for, and you get a bag tag. It's like,
Right.
maybe we should really, really treat them as they are special. Okay. So, and then I think the other thing that we really see in today is there's water issues. We know that not necessarily from the golf industry. We know it, with our states and everything else. There are water issues, and certainly in the Southwest. I mean, we talk to clubs in the Southwest that are taking turf areas and turning them into desert areas because they don't want to irrigate them because the cost of water and everything else. So that's a big deal, and additional fertilizers being used, growth retardants or growth accelerators. It's there's a lot of that going on, and so anyway, that those are kind of the trends that we see, and then
Gotcha.
how do we combat them?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, definitely a big influx in golfers since 2020, especially with the rise of all the influencers and people on social media playing golf like Good, Bob Does Sports, other people like that. Definitely bringing lots of younger people to the game and some people that might have been turned off before. Yeah, it's great. I'd never heard of the water issues before. And there's a couple of clubs down here that in Fort Myers that have big waste areas and bunkers instead of some ponds. I didn't know it was a popular thing going on. That's cool.
Well,
Um,
yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, no, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it definitely is. So you're in Fort Myers. The cost of water in Florida, you could dig down and get a lot of water,
Right.
but the reality is it's gotten costly, and so consequently, how do we combat that?
Right. Makes sense. And then, what do you guys for your clients? What's working well for you guys right now? What's been frustrating? What's stuff yeah? What's the stuff that's going really well, and what's the stuff that's kind of holding you guys back?
Well, there isn't really, there's nothing holding us back, let's put it that way. Because we get contacted by, clubs or individuals meaning, uh, you know, I've developed this shirt line, and how do I get in the golf industry? There's only,
Hmm.
how many, there's hundreds of companies. You can just go to the PGA merchandise show and you just walk those
Right,
aisles
right.
and you see, everybody's trying to get a foothold into the golf industry. And,
Hmm.
and so consequently, what we're trying to do is just be real honest. There's some big players out there, and so what are you looking for? What's the niche that you're looking for? And so if it's apparel, we have serious discussions with them and give them our advice. Um, and uh, if there's a client that we have that I think could be a game changer, and we're just now beginning to introduce it. It's a company called the Rainbox, and along those water issues idea. There's a company in South Africa that their scientists have developed a water treatment technology that actually has when it goes through their system, it comes the same, all similar chemistry that you'd have from rainwater. Now, if you're a golfer, at whatever level you're a golfer, you have a thunderstorm and you look at the golf course, it never looked greener.
Hmm.
There's a reason for that because of all the natural rain that's coming from the sky and all the nutrients in it and everything else. Well, they've developed uh, a, uh, a scientific uh, uh, box, if you will, that your irrigation water will travel through. And when it comes out of your irrigation system, it has all the properties of natural rainwater. And so,
Wow.
yeah, they developed it in agriculture. It's been around for about 10 years. Some of the biggest farms in Mexico and South Africa and Canada and whatnot, and then some now starting in the U.S. have been using this system, and what they're finding is 30% more growth, less chemicals, less water usage. The plants are just way better than they ever used to be because they're getting irrigated with natural like rainwater. And so
Right.
consequently, they contacted us. How do we get, this may have an impact in the golf industry? Well, light bulb goes off. Yes, it does. It would be huge. And so what we've been doing for the last year is working with them to develop data. And so Michigan State University, which is arguably number one in the country as far as agronomics and turning out excellent golf course superintendents that have attended that program. They have an institute there, the Hancock Institute. So we have machines through Rainbox. We have introduced them to Michigan State. They're doing the data testing on it right now. Everything is coming back so far with terrific results. And so we're going to be rolling this out to clubs and courses around the country. I mean, anywhere from football fields that are natural grass to soccer fields to uh, cities to golf courses. I think this is going to be a big game changer.
That's
And
awesome. Yeah.
the reality is, it's scientifically proven, and quite honestly, in the big scheme of things, not that expensive. If you had I mean, these are kind of introductory pricing, but just to give it in perspective, if you had one pump house, one area you were driving from on your golf course, you're looking at a full installation of under $60,000. So most courses that have anywhere of a grounds budget anywhere from 500,000 to 1.5 million or 2 million or whatever, this is not that much money to use less chemicals, have better turf, less water. It looks like it's going to be something really special. the Golf Guidance Group, we're door openers. I mean, we that's our role. Our role is to use our years of experience and contacts, if you will, in the golf industry to open the door, be the key that says, hey, you should take a look at Rainbox. And the rest of it, you get the scientists together with the golf course superintendents, and it's a win-win.
Gotcha. So your main role is just to get them rolling, get them in the industry, and
Yeah,
help them get on their feet.
yeah. That company that comes out with where there's a company that has a program called Member Text. Now, what happens at a lot of clubs is they'll send an email. Oh, we got a frost delay. They send an email out. I'm sure, know that people look at emails when they decide to look at emails.
Hmm.
I mean, could be 3 times a day, could be once a day, could be 10 times a day. It's all relative. But you know what? When we get a text message, we look at that text message in
That's
about two
right.
minutes. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so they have a company that is frankly not that it's very inexpensive. And we have some clubs that we introduced member text to, and you can have 10,000 texts in a month, if you will. But the bottom line is you could put, hey, we've got a special in the dining room, and text it to the members, and it comes as a notification on their phone, and they're like, hey, you
Right.
know what? Maybe we should go to the club for dinner tonight. Or, you know what? We've got cart path only today. That's the beauty. And if you're in the north at all, there's a frost delay. Well, I'm planning. I got guests, and we're going to play around 9 o'clock. Well, the course isn't going to be open till 10:30. So
Right.
so it's this kind of stuff. We just open the door and get the ball rolling.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely use for that in industry. Lots of when you go to the PGA show and you look at all the small companies in there that need help getting going, it's definitely room for that. Yeah, Rainbox, as you said, that sounds awesome. It sounds like something not just for the golf industry, something very versatile. So it seems very big.
Yeah, I think this is something that and you know what, in the golf industry, and I think you're probably finding this out, but I can tell you from years of experience, it's a very personal industry. It really becomes like we've talked to several colleagues, golf professionals, their superintendents, and generally what happens is, well, where is this? Take Rainbox. Where is it installed? Well, it's installed agriculturally, but not many golf courses. There's about half a dozen golf courses right now using it, but they want data and they want their handheld, if you will. And so the big deal is going to come from all this data we're receiving from Michigan State. And we hope to have all of that probably within the next month. And then you can, superintendent's going to say, well, Jesus, Michigan State says this. I need to talk to the
Right.
Rainbow people. You know what I mean? So.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. That'd be a game changer. Anything else you want to share before we go? Any insights or
Well, you
something
know
on your
what?
mind?
I think the golf business is about as good as it's been in a long time, and so
Right.
that's a great thing. More people playing golf is a great thing. I think the tour and is as positive as it's been in a long time. Their television numbers are way up,
Right.
and they're so it's all good. It's all good. The PGA show, there was a period where some of the major companies, weren't going to the PGA show.
Right.
Now they're all back, and uh,
Right.
and the numbers at the PGA show are as big as can be. The numbers at the golf course superintendent's show are the biggest they've been in a long time. So golf's in a good place. We've all four of us in Golf Guidance Group, we've been blessed with great careers, and we're just trying to give back.
Sounds great. It sounds like a good thing you guys are doing over there, and definitely a positive thing for the industry.
Well, I appreciate having the time to talk to you about this and share. So I hope it's beneficial to a lot of your watchers and listeners.
Of course, I appreciate having you on, Michael.
Yeah, my pleasure.